Okay, our final driver interview of the morning session is Clint Bowyer. He drives the number 33 Cheerios Hamburger Helper Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. He's currently seated 12th in points. He's back in the chase, but I can recall one year, just a few years ago, you were 12th in points, and you came in here and won at New Hampshire. So talk about your outlook, Clint, as the chase starts this weekend.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to be in the chase. Our team is excited. It's just a whole new, rejuvenation for our race team. Starting over. We went into this thing, you think about it, we were 500 points out. We're 60 points out. That's a big change in one race time. So 10 races to go. This is a fun atmosphere to be in, and we're excited about it. Good racetracks for us. There's 10 tracks that are really good for me, and I think we'll be good.
Questions for Clint? If you have one, raise your hand. We'll go with Chuck, and then we'll go with Kenny.
Chuck Howard, NASCAR Media Group. Clint, going back to Kansas in a couple of weeks, can you explain to us the first time that you knew you were going to run there, and do you still get butterflies going back there? Just knowing, when you were a kid, I'd have to think, man,
oh, yeah,
that's where I want to run. How cool is that to be doing it there where you grew up?
Well, it all started driving down the road to Lakeside. I remember when it was a housing development. Never in a million years would you have looked at that area right there going down 435 and said this is going to be a huge racing complex with a shopping mall and everything that's over there. It's unbelievable how much that racetrack has brought to that area in Wyandotte County. But when it was being built, to drive by it while it was being built, and then when it was, to go to the first race and be in the infield and hanging out with your buddies watching a race and dreaming of racing there, to go back there and compete, not only compete, but to compete at the top level of motorsports, it's a, pretty neat feeling.
Let's go Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce, SceneDaily.com. Clint, you guys had to focus so much on making sure that you got into the chase. Are there any concerns that you didn't have adequate time to prepare for everything once you got into it?
No, we had a brand new car ready for it, the first race of the chase. It wasn't like we weren't prepared. And, it's not like you work so hard to get in the chase and you're fizzled, you're excited. Everybody's, like I said, this is a whole rejuvenation for our race team. Just the sheer excitement of being in the chase is worth something. And then, if you go back and look at our record and my record even before in these 10 races, these are good racetracks for us. We've never finished outside the top 5 when we've been in the chase. Go back and look at last season, even when we weren't in the chase, those 10 races were my best races of the year. And, I think that we can improve, for sure off of where we're at right now.
Other questions for Clint? Lee has one right here, John.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. You think because you slipped in, at the last minute that you're almost at an advantage because people won't consider you to be one of the top contenders since you haven't won this yet?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm looking, most forward to is being the underdog and being that afterthought. Everybody, puts the pressure. Did you hear how many questions Jimmy Johnson just answered? And that was all pressure related. How are you going to handle the pressure? What are you going to do this time to win another 5th championship? And, my teammate Kevin Harvick, I was in New York listening to him answer those same exact questions because of the way he's run all season long for 26 races. We haven't answered one of them. The only thing you guys want to know from us is how do you think you can do, and that's great. It reminds me a lot of 2007. Same scenario. We came and won the first race, and kind of set the tempo for the chase, and for our race team as well. So, I hope that I can back that up. I think that we can run at that level. I think our cars are good enough too, and they're probably better than they were. We've got some room to improve, and we need to improve if we're going to win a championship and compete with these guys for 10 races. But the way our cars are run all year, Kevin's done a good job of showing our, our potential at RCR. And, if we can match that for 10 races that he has for 26, somebody at RCR should win.
Marty Smith.
Marty Smith, ESPN. You and I discussed after Richmond last week that over the last month or so, you're one of the 2 or 3 best teams out there in terms of being consistently fast. Now that you have qualified, what is the attitude difference? You discussed it was a rejuvenating thing, but how palpable is that?
I think it's everything. You know, confidence and momentum is everything in any sport, I think. And, you know, they both feed off each other. And the last month has been a lot of momentum and has bred a lot of confidence with our race team. And I think that, you know, hopefully we can continue to ride that wave as long as we can. And if we can carry that throughout the chase, we can be a force to be reckoned with, just like we were in 2007. That's the thing about this chase. In my opinion, that's different from any other years. You don't have that dominant organization. You got every organization in it that's very strong, very capable of winning races, and we've seen it all year long. Everybody's had their time in the sun, and I think it's going to be the same thing. I've said it all week long. I think you're going to go into Homestead with anywhere from 3 to 6 cars with a shot at winning the championship, and I think that's going to be big for our sport.
Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius NASCAR Radio. As you know, when we go into the chase, we've had weeks of debating what driver would win the chase, and it's usually focused on who's got the maturity, who's aggressive, who's not aggressive, who's part of a multi-car team, who is distracted because he's running a truck team. Does any of that really matter that much? Who's the younger guy who hasn't had, the chase championship almost winning it experience? Put it in perspective. Does any of that really matter when it comes down to it with the number of drivers that we have at the talent level?
I really don't think it does. The only one with the sheer advantage, in my opinion, is Jimmy Johnson. He's won 4 in a row. Everybody's chasing after him, and there's got to be a level of intimidation there. Everybody else, all it is you got to be able to get on that roll and get on a rhythm and find that mojo. And if you can carry that through 10 races, you're going to find yourself a champion. That's how close the racing is. I think the one that's the most consistent always wins the championship. If you have a bad race, as close as this racing is, I don't think there's time to make up for it.
Anybody else? Right here, Kenny's got one.
Clint, as close as the field is, and I mean, everybody, even if they haven't won races, they ran extremely well this year. Would it surprise you if somebody broke out early and started winning races and getting a big lead?
I mean, you might. I just don't see, the way Jimmy Johnson won 4 out of the 10 races or whatever he did, to dominate a chase. I mean, he's surprised us all before, and he may. But I just don't think, that any one team is going to break out and be head and shoulders above everybody else.
Anything else for Clint? Clint, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.